This has to be one of the closest races that we've experienced in a while, right?
It's just too tight. It's
From
just too tight.
from 3 to 7, 8,
From
9.
three till seven
Crazy.
is just 1 point.
Yes.
Damn. So it's
Yes.
a matter of one loss and you're out, or one draw
And
and you're out.
it comes to the final day for almost all the sides apart from Man City. But
Yeah.
Man City, they still
Even
have like
Nottingham.
2 games. They have a
Yeah.
game in hand.
Yeah. The thing is that Nottingham Forest and Chelsea, if they draw, that can take both of them out of the Champions League.
Of course.
And if they both draw, they're out of the Champions League because there's a high likelihood that Aston Villa might win.
Yes.
Newcastle. I don't
Oh,
know.
damn. That's true. That's true.
Right?
SSB, what's up? Welcome.
Yeah.
Um,
So
but looking at Chelsea and Nottingham Forest, right?
yeah.
They play each other.
Yeah. On the final day.
So it's like if Nottingham Forest win Chelsea, they take the Champions League spot.
Which I doubt they would.
You don't know
They
win.
won't win that game.
Oh, I know, right? SSB.
The worst case scenario is Forest
Mhm.
Chelsea. The worst case scenario is that both of us will draw and both of us will not go to Champions League. But
Yeah,
Forest will not win that
you
game.
guys are going to Nottingham Forest house.
Yes, and I
Okay.
believe we can. Chelsea can win Nottingham Forest in their house.
I just have to tell you, you might not have that Champions League spot.
Well, I'm not
You
even
might not
worried.
have that Champions League spot. I
I'm
think
not worried about that.
Nottingham Forest is going to win you guys. For
Nah,
sure.
I
For
don't think
sure. For
so.
sure. For sure. You're
Nah,
playing them at home.
they are not going to win us.
And all they have to do is to win to go to Champions
They
League. And
are
you
not
think they
going.
will
You know
not
why I say
win?
they are not going to win?
Why?
That day, who is going? First of all, we talk about who is going to be more desperate when the game
Who is
starts.
more but who is more desperate in this position?
If we draw, we
60,
have a higher
67.
probability of going to the Champions League than them.
But that's contingent on how the other teams play.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So if we draw, we have a higher chance going to Champions League than them.
Mm-hmm.
If they draw, they can't go. No matter how other teams do. If they draw, they are not going. Do you get?
Exactly. Yeah.
So they need to win.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get? So that's
Yeah.
it. So
SSB City needs to win the next two. Yeah, they need to win the next 2 games. They need to win
and
the next two
City's games
games.
are not easy too.
They are not easy
You,
games
you know
at
what will make
all.
it interesting?
What makes it
City
interesting?
draws Bournemouth Tuesday. Let all of us be on 66. Then
Wow,
we battle it out. Final
going into
day,
the
we
final.
battle
Oh
it.
my god.
Sweat and blood.
You have to have like 3 screens open, 4 screens open to watch all the games at once because it's going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
But I think Man City will beat Bournemouth.
You
And
think so?
I think so. I think Man City will beat Bournemouth. And I think
You see,
once Man City beats Bournemouth, it will now be clear because Man City are on what 65,
Bournemouth are a
69. It will
difficult
now be clear.
side.
They will take that third position.
They
I
are,
think City might find a
you
way.
see what SSB is saying? City Bournemouth draw is written all over it. City cannot
That would be
beat Bournemouth.
ideal for
I'm
the
the one
plot.
telling you,
It will be ideal for the plot.
right?
City has the
So
issue of leaving things to last day. Well,
that's
that's
the
true.
thing.
That's
Like
true.
Bournemouth are not an easy, and even Fulham. Fulham are
Mm-hmm.
those two teams are not teams you want to meet. They are winnable games, but they are teams that you don't want to meet around this period.
Mm-hmm.
Even Everton, you don't want to meet them around this period.
Because
Do
they
you
are
get what?
desperate. Like keeping to
Yeah,
that last
they
game.
are just they don't have anything to play for, but they are just spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? You don't want to meet Everton, you don't want to meet Newcastle, even on towards the end of the season.
But Newcastle, Everton, they are playing on the final day.
That's what I'm saying. And I feel like Everton can take points from Newcastle. You don't still believe. We'll see. Bournemouth, you don't want to meet them. Fulham, you don't want to meet them. Brentford too, you don't want to meet them.
Mm-hmm.
Those are teams that you try and avoid. It's better you are playing a very difficult side
Yeah.
that you know that yes, I have to beat these people.
Yeah.
You get you're playing people at the bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but there's not even relegation fights. So
Man, you might come down to the final day at this point.
I want
It might
Manchester
come
City
down to
and
the final
Bournemouth. I
day.
want them to draw.
But what
So
happens if they draw? Imagine they draw. Newcastle has to qualify. Newcastle has to qualify to keep guys like Isak, Bruno G, and
and
others.
Bruno.
Yeah, because if they don't get that Champions League spot,
But
Those
yeah,
players will
but
be
you know
as
what I think?
excited because they want to
Do
play
you know
Champions
what
League
I
again.
you know what I think?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is ruling Chelsea out from the start, from 5 games in. Everybody has always ruled us out that we're not
Of
going to go to
course,
Champions League.
I don't think you guys will go
But
to
at
Champions League.
all odds, we've
Mm-hmm.
collected 9 points from
Mm-hmm.
4 games, right? And nobody is even looking at Villa,
Mm-hmm.
right? Villa too is another card that nobody is counting them in. But at the end of the day, we will see the champion. My own prediction is the Champions League spots will be surprised. We'll be surprised on the last day. I want to see Bournemouth, Man City. That's
I
what I
think
want.
I think Man City have what it takes to beat Bournemouth. I don't know why you think he has raw written all over it. I think City will go after losing this, this FA Cup. They will go into their full focus now is making sure we secure Champions League spots, and I think they should be able to get a win at win Bournemouth and win Fulham as well. But if City wins either of these teams, it kind of gives them a Champions League spot
It's not
regardless.
enough.
You
They
don't
need to
think
win
so?
both. They need to win both. Because if they draw, they're on 66 and it takes it to the last day. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So they
If
need to
if
win
they
both.
draw Bournemouth and they win, if they draw Bournemouth and they win, hi Jordan. If they draw Bournemouth
Yeah.
and they win Fulham,
That might not be enough.
that's 4 points.
Uh-huh. 4
That's
points takes them to
69.
what? Yeah, that's 69. The rest
But
have
they have,
69.
but they have as much. They have more goal difference than most people.
What's their goal difference?
Anyway, their goal difference is 24.
What's
24.
Chelsea's goal
Newcastle,
difference?
Chelsea 20 and
Uh-huh.
Newcastle 22. Anyways, it's almost the same thing.
That is risky. On the final day, Chelsea can put 4 past Newcastle, Nottingham Forest. Newcastle can put 4 past Everton. It can happen. Don't do like this.
Chelsea
It
will
can
not put 4
happen.
past
Okay.
Nottingham Forest.
You know
That's not even a game. That's not even a game I
the
think Chelsea
funny
to
thing
win.
is that every prediction I tell you, you say no. At the end of the day, it happens. I told you
Not everything happens.
most of it. I told you Newcastle cannot win us now. You said, oh, they can get a draw. I said they are not getting anything from that
But
game.
it looks like a game that they could have gotten a draw.
They can't win. They've never won in Arsenal's house for 15 years.
But it did look like a game that they could have gotten a draw.
I
If
knew
not,
they were not going to
Declan
get
Rice.
anything.
Okay, fine.
Do you get?
Fine.
Newcastle has not won in the Emirates for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So how would they win when Arsenal needs to get that 3 points?
But
They
it's
can't
not
win.
unusual. It's not unusual to assume a Newcastle side, given the form they have, given Arsenal's
just
current
know.
form, to draw.
Sometimes you know. He said, SSB saying those
Other
other
teams also want
teams
to finish
also
as high
want to
as
finish.
possible. Owners want money for placement in the table. Players with cheap contracts are playing to be paid. Assistant managers want jobs. Bug
Yeah.
implication. Yeah,
That's
I
it.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that, of course, teams coming to that final day want to give it their all. They want to go above and beyond, to
Yeah.
ensure that yes, they finish in a decent enough spot and
Yeah.
get nice placements. Most teams want most teams want to go to Europe. If you look at number of course, Arsenal, they are going to Champions League, of course. But from number 3 to like number 7, they are all fighting for a chance to get into Europe.
True.
So, and it depends on where you finish. Now determines like, are you Champions League? Are you Europa? Are you Conference League? So,
Yeah.
I think that final day will be really, really crazy, especially if
Brentford won Fulham, right? So Brentford are in a really strong position now.
Yeah.
So the last day might not mean nothing to Fulham,
in
my opinion, but it could still mean something to Bournemouth if they win. I can't see as I am. I can't trust Bournemouth.
Why?
I don't know. They're just and everybody
because something crossed my mind. I'm like, what if City lose?
That's it. I don't see Bournemouth. I kind of side that I don't want to meet them at this time. When you really, how do I say, when you are desperate, avoid Bournemouth. Just have because if they turn up on the day, you could get beaten seriously.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't just see teams that I don't trust, and I don't want to even have encounter with them towards the end. Bournemouth is number 1. Brentford, I want to avoid them at all costs. Because that day Mbomo might just have had enough sleep. He just refreshed.
And
With
he just finds a way to score.
They can. They've done it to Chelsea. They've done it to so many teams.
Yeah, I
Right?
get what you're saying.
That day, they don't. It just feels like they just turn up. Something just happened. Like Brentford, this is just their day. They just start putting in those goals. Left, right, center. And you that you are playing your opposition fan, you're just confused. Like, what was happening? You get so Bournemouth, Brentford, even Fulham, those 3. I want to avoid, even Brighton too. You want to avoid them at all
because
costs.
the implications of City losing to Bournemouth would be really, really bad because
it will be they can't even lose to Bournemouth.
Because if they lose to Bournemouth, there's no guarantee that they will go to Champions League.
That's it. Even Nottingham Forest
no
can
guarantee.
go. Even Nottingham Forest can go, and that will give Nottingham Forest a chance to beat Chelsea.
Yes.
Do you get? So if City, let's put it like this: if City lose to Bournemouth, Chelsea are in trouble. So it doesn't even pay us for City to lose. It pays us for City to draw because Nottingham Forest will be really.
Arsenal are playing for banter. Yeah, they are playing for banter right now. I mean, at this point, they've kind of like them winning Newcastle. This already guarantees them like Champions League spots pretty much.
No, they are second.
They are second. Yeah,
except Man City will score 10 goals, which I think they can't.
Except Man City. Man City, if they win their next 2, that's 6. That's 71.
It's still the same point, but they have so much goal difference.
The goal difference is so loud. So
yeah, mathematically they are second.
Yeah. So then, if they had drawn this game, it would have opened that door of like, wow, I might actually not even finish second. But kudos to them, they're finishing second again. It's funny seeing Arsenal play for nothing yet going too hard. Fans are angry. Well,
you saw did you see Arteta's after the game? You know they gave the manager to talk and the players and everything. Odegaard said it was a disappointing season, but they are hoping for next season and they want to put in more. They want to try again, go again.
Yeah.
What did Arteta say? Arteta say we can't stop dreaming. We all have a dream in this stadium, and we'll go for that same dream. It's Premier League is talking about.
Yeah.
We still go for that dream. The dream is not going to die. Our dream is not blurry, right? This group of players still have that dream. They are still hardworking and they are going to go next season. My man, I'm saying, brother, this is your obsession with the Premier League. Why don't you focus on you can win? Arteta has the chance to win. He has a good score to win Champions League.
Yes.
If he really puts in all his energy there. And you know the funny thing, if Arteta concentrated on maybe the Champions League and maybe FA Cup to win it, he might even just low-key do well in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Say teams that can counter and are defensive sound.
And are defensively sound and not what you want to play. Because those teams will just defend. The first opportunity they find, they score you. You want to play. Yeah, you want to play Brighton, not the Palace. Yeah.
Yes.
Crystal Palace.
Because Brighton will come about Palace. Oh my God. You saw what they did to City.
Yeah.
Brentford. You want to avoid Brentford. Bournemouth are a bit funny because it feels like they sit back, but they have this mid block.
Yeah.
They don't sit back. They are defensive, but at the same time, they are just in the middle. Them and Aston Villa have that kind of weird tactics where they squeeze the pitch. They want you to play within a tiny area. And before you know it, they are lofting the ball very long to the wingers. Those guys are attacking you.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you have some stuntmen in front. And they can score from outside the box.
Arsenal I call people say Liverpool fans are too there, but Liverpool fans don't do these stunts. Yeah. Yeah.
Arsenal like cults.
Arsenal fans.
I don't know, like the followership Arsenal, like Arsenal. SSB, when you say Arsenal is a cult, what do you mean? So maybe SSB is saying, how do I say it? Is it that they are, how do I say it now? That's not called, people say Liverpool. Oh, you mean maybe they are too loyal, right?
Yeah, maybe he's talking about like, yeah, I think it's
Loyalty
what
in
he's
terms
talking
of,
about in terms of the togetherness, right? With like their
but
support for
they
like the
seem
players,
even
the support for like the players and maybe the coach, or
mm,
maybe that's what he's trying to say.
okay.
But we'll see.
They've not
But
done,
yeah,
yeah. We
I, I
see.
I completely agree with what you were saying. I think at this point in time, it's not just about the Premier League. It's about winning something. It's
Yeah,
about
that's
getting
it.
the team into a mindset of
Yeah,
a
winning,
mindset
just
of winning.
win a
Win
trophy,
win a
right?
Carabao, win
Ah,
an FA.
yeah,
Just win something and let the team just get used to that
yeah.
feeling
Now
because
if
that might lead to other
now
things.
if it feels like, oh, we just keep going, we're not winning anything,
Mhm.
we're not lifting anything. Ateta say, oh, that we planned at today, that at least we'll have had something to show you, a trophy. But I know you are
Mhm.
disappointed. I was just like,
Yeah, Chelsea beating Manchester United was huge. Looking back at it, yeah, looking back at it, yes,
yeah, that's it.
Chelsea needed to win Manchester United. It was such a huge game,
And you know the
and
funny thing, we always
Mhm.
draw with Manchester United. Do you get? We
But
always draw. We just,
surprisingly,
yeah.
things just aligned.
So
Things really aligned.
that last day, you know
But
what?
that last day, you guys
The
don't have
last
a
day, you know
chance.
what I'm sensing on the last day, that teams that we're not expecting will fall apart, will fall apart. Teams that we're
Who
not
does
expecting,
Aston Villa play on the last day? Let me see.
they play Man U on the last day at Old Trafford.
Oh, so now let me tell you what I think will happen.
But wait,
I okay.
that game is after they play midweek, right?
Mhm.
So what do you think will happen? Let's give your predictions.
I think okay, guys, this is going to be crazy. This is going to be crazy. But listen to this. Clock this. Man City lose Bournemouth. They beat Fulham. They finish with 68 points. Newcastle Newcastle win at Everton. Right?
They go to 69.
They go to 69 points.
Mm,
Chelsea draw Nottingham Forest.
mm.
67 points. And Aston Villa lose to Man U.
So Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest miss out.
Yes. No, Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa, that will bring them to 60. Aston Villa will be
66 and
66.
66.
Nottingham Forest will be 66. Nottingham Forest will be above Aston Villa.
Aston Villa on goal difference.
Yes.
That would be a big blow for Unai Emery because he'll go to Conference League.
Yeah.
Damn. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Villa don't travel well to Old Trafford. Like Villa would lose at Old Trafford. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
there's that probability because this man,
Emery
you
is
saw
not
the way
winning.
man you play Chelsea. I don't know if
Yes.
you watch
Yes.
that game. It was just like, where has this man you been? Is it all this season?
Of course, of course, if Man U win Europa, they might not care about the Villa game.
Yeah, but
Because it's
if they
like, yeah,
lose,
but if they lose Europa, which I hope that happens, fingers crossed. But if they lose Europa, I feel like Aston Villa will not win at Old Trafford regardless, though. I just don't feel like they have a lot of. If you check the head-to-head and just look back at these two teams when they play at Old Trafford, you find that Aston Villa struggle at Old Trafford a lot.
yeah, the last time
So
under Ten Hag, I think Ten Hag came back and won
came
them.
back, second half came back and then they won them.
The season
I think
before
they
that
ended like
was,
4-2 or something like
yeah,
that.
was
So
the same thing.
I just feel like Aston Villa will finish with 66 points. I think Man City might not win their next two. I feel like
That's the feeling I get with Manchester City. I feel
they
like
draw one,
they
win
will still
one.
drop points.
They draw one, win one, or
Yeah.
they lose one, win
I
one.
don't know if they will lose. Lose will be a big disaster.
But you don't think Bournemouth, if Crystal Palace could beat Manchester City, you don't think a Bournemouth can beat Manchester City?
But it's at the Etihad.
Yeah. I think Villa lose, Rashford lose, and Emery goes to
If
Europa.
Villa loses, they go to the Conference League.
But doesn't that depend on how the other teams play? It depends on how the other teams play, right?
Oh, it's true if Nottingham Forest loses too. then
Yeah, if
they go to
Nottingham Forest is
Champions League.
losing,
Yeah.
they don't, yeah, he still goes to. So the thing is, if Chelsea should beat Nottingham Forest, that would favor Villa a lot.
Yeah,
Villa,
so
Villa
they will.
fans need to hope that Chelsea beats Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Because if Chelsea does that, Chelsea secures 69 points.
Mm,
Chelsea are securing themselves in that Champions League spot, depending contingent on what Newcastle and Manchester City do,
mm,
right? But if Newcastle they drop points at Everton, and that puts them at maybe 67. Let's say they draw the game, right?
mm,
67 points. That means Chelsea is, they are going. They're like a number 4, depending on what Man City does. They are going regardless, right?
mm.
So it depends on what Newcastle do on the last day, really.
Everybody's game
So
is dicey at this moment.
no, but it really depends on what. If Chelsea should win, it really depends on what Newcastle do, because whether or not Man City win their next two, Chelsea will still promise a Champions League spot, regardless.
Oh yes. So if Chelsea wins, they are going.
If Chelsea wins their last game,
They
they
are
are
going.
going to Champions League,
First league is true.
regardless of what Manchester City or
Any other person
Newcastle
does.
do. They are securing that number 4. So it's between Newcastle and Manchester City. Maybe that number 3 comes into question, because if Man City, if they win their next two, they automatically
Then
get
they
that
are
number
third.
3 spot. That third, that just moves Chelsea down, depending on what
Oh.
Newcastle does. But Chelsea, 5 spots go to Champions League. Chelsea, they're still going to Champions League regardless. They have to
So
win.
Chelsea needs to win.
They have to win, not at
Win.
Nottingham Forest. They have
But
to
I
win.
think for Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, I think what Chelsea need to do, they need to have a fast start, right?
Yeah.
They need to have a fast start, the same way they played with Liverpool. Go in there quickly, you score. When you score Forest first, they don't come back because you destroyed the game plan. The game plan for them is always to sit back and wait.
Yes. And
Right?
wait,
But once
find
you
the
score them
opportunity.
first, now they will be more desperate. They will
Because they
come
have to
out.
score. Yeah.
Yeah. So now then you cannot have a go at them, and they are not really good when they are not sitting back, right? So
Exactly. So yeah, I agree. If Chelsea, if they for some reason find a way and win at Nottingham Forest, Champions
be
League
tough.
is
That
for
would be
them.
tough.
But if they don't,
That would be
then
then they're out.
that's a whole lot of calculations. A lot of
So the
calculations.
thing now is that if Chelsea draws and Aston Villa does not win, it means that Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest they don't go.
Pretty much.
That's a possibility. That will be dependent on Aston Villa, right?
You
And
see,
Man
if
U.
Chelsea draws and Aston Villa wins, is that what
No,
you're
if
saying?
Chelsea draws and Aston Villa does not win,
Does not win. Okay. Chelsea draws and does not
automatically
win.
two of them are out, right? It's really
Yeah.
hard to see because even Newcastle too.
Yeah, automatically 2 of them are out, contingent of course of what Man City do, right?
Yeah,
But automatically 2 of them are they're not kind of out, but they're not actually kind of out though. They're
Who is
actually
that?
not.
Aston Villa.
Yeah, you mean
Yeah.
out of Champions League spots, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Because automatically Newcastle has more goal difference, right? So even if they lose, and Nottingham Forest lose and Aston Villa lose, they are still going.
Yeah.
Do you get? So
If Aston Villa loses and Nottingham Forest draws,
they are out. Yeah.
because
So
because
those
of
two teams
Newcastle's goal
need to win.
difference.
Everybody needs to win. Put it like that.
Everybody needs to win coming into the last day. Even Man City need 2 wins. Right? It's so critical. Like coming into this last day, you have to win.
If all of them draw,
then it just comes down to that nitty-gritty and
goal difference
and everything.
But last day will be tough. Last day will be tough.
And the way their positions and everything. But that last day is going to be, like you said, it's going to be really
tough.
difficult.
And I feel that we'll have some surprises.
I don't think I'll be surprised. Me personally, I don't think I'll be surprised. I feel like what I'm seeing based on the history of these teams, how they played, looking at current form, I feel like not so much to surprise me.
Okay.
Especially the only game that will surprise me is if Chelsea beat Nottingham Forest like convincingly. That's when I'll be surprised. That's interesting. If City don't make Champions League, do they get the signings they intended to get? Do Ritz and others sign for City? That's a very good question. Honestly, that's a very good question.
And it feels like currently, can we say City are currently in a slump? Or maybe
They kind of are. It feels like
they drew against Southampton.
They've been
They
in a
lost
slump.
to to Crystal Palace. Do you get
Yeah,
what I'm
they could
saying?
lose to Bournemouth. Like I'm telling you, they could lose to Bournemouth.
That would be
It is
that would
not
be
unusual. It's not
that would be
unusual. Like
bad.
it's not unusual for City to lose to Bournemouth. It is not unusual. I think it's very possible they lose to Bournemouth. The last game, Bournemouth, the City and Bournemouth played the last time they played, and Bournemouth won.
Did Bournemouth won?
Yes, Bournemouth won 2-1.
Oh, this season.
Yeah, this
Damn,
season.
damn. Yeah, I
The
don't
last
know
time
that.
they played, this last time they played this season, Bournemouth won 2-1.
And
It's
I
just that
and I
this
and
is
I think
in City's house,
yeah.
City's home, so maybe it might change. It's in the Etihad,
But
so
Bournemouth, anywhere they play, they are not really afraid to play. Do you get? So see that's and I'm sure City players will be wary of the Bournemouth team. They will be wary
but City have usually won Bournemouth at home. When you
in
look
their
at
house.
in their
Yeah.
yeah, they usually beat Bournemouth in their house at the Etihad. If you go way back, there's never been a. I mean, the last time I would say Bournemouth, no, City have not lost. I've never lost to Bournemouth.
1 month. So
Yeah,
that might
City have
play
never lost to
a
Bournemouth
big
at home. So I think there's a high chance City will beat Bournemouth.
big Bournemouth.
But given their current form,
If they play the same way they played, like what they played in the FA Cup and Southampton, they will not win that game.
yeah.
I'm sure. But Guardiola has something off his
I
sleeve.
think if Pep still plays the same tactics over and over again, it's expected that the people you used to defeat easily, you just can't beat them anymore because they know what to expect. You're not
Especially if
predictable.
Bournemouth sits back.
Exactly. Exactly.
Southampton sat back and they got a result. Crystal Palace sat back. They got a result. But the thing about City is that when you play City, your keeper really needs to be good. Your keeper needs to pull saves. So the question now is, can Kepa pull saves? Kepa Arrizabalaga. He should help Chelsea. He's ex-Chelsea boy. Really Chelsea man too.
That's
I don't
funny,
know if
man. That's a very good
Arrizabalaga.
question. With Kepa
That's
saying
it.
anything. So
Kepa is not trustworthy. I don't know
that's a very good question. That's a very good
why they
question.
want him, but
But I think City beats Bournemouth. I think City beats Bournemouth. I think City beats Bournemouth. In that case, I think City will win. Whoever does not make it will have an exodus of players. Yeah, whoever doesn't make it will have an like because Newcastle they know if they don't make Champions League, Isak is going.
will he go?
Isak will want to. In fact, there's not even. I mean, Isak might even leave in the summer. But right now, as it
But
stands,
they
if
will
they
still
don't
be
make,
in Europe now.
yeah, but I know they will still be in Europe. But at this point,
You
I
need
think he
Champions
wants to
League,
play
right?
Champions League. Don't you think? I think he's a striker that deserves to be in the Champions League.
Even Bruno
So
too.
I don't know. I don't
Imagine you
know.
having Bruno on your team. God,
Bruno G, Gimenez.
yes, Grimares is just too good.
Yeah,
I just
he's good.
imagine the pairing of Bruno and Caicedo. That would be cheating. You have two of them on one team.
Chelsea might have complete different 11 next season. I know.
No, but
Chelsea.
my team are still young. My team are the only team that I don't think there might be exodus. Right?
Fair, fair.
Is the rest that are in danger of exodus.
Maybe not Man City because Man City, I don't think any of their players will leave. I think they'll just take it as it was a bad season and
Bad season.
let us dig ourselves out of this slump. But definitely
Gibbs White, yeah.
Nottingham Forest.
Gibbs White. But
Yeah,
Gibbs White, if he's playing in Europe for the first time, right? So if he plays in the Conference League or Europa, does it really matter?
well, that's a good
Right?
question. Does it really
And
matter?
where
But
would he go to? Gibbs White is a really good player.
I feel like he's a player that at this point in time, if he fits in a
Morgan
big
Gibbs
club,
White is really good.
he fits in a bigger club. I can see
Really.
Gibbs White. I can see Gibbs White, fitting in well even into Arsenal, fitting in well
Do you,
into
yeah, KDB
Newcastle.
gonna will be out for City. Yes, regardless of even where they finish,
Mm-hmm,
they are still going. KDB is going.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Gundogan doesn't he have one more season?
no, it's just 1 year they gave him.
Oh, so they didn't renew. They didn't renew his contract. I thought they
It's
did.
1 year they gave him when he came
Gundogan.
back. Yeah, I think it's 1 year. And you have say the defense will be out for City. Their keeper is going. Ederson is going. He needs the Saudi bag.
Yeah,
So
So Gundogan is staying for one more season.
Oh,
Okay,
he has an
Gundogan's
extra year.
contract here was extended for 1 year, automatically triggered by a clause in the existing deal, meaning he will now be with the club through the summer of 2026. So they gave him one more season. Pep extended his contract one more season.
And you could not extend the contract of De Bruyne.
Who will you want to keep though, Gundogan or De Bruyne? De Bruyne doesn't have the legs, right? Gundogan seems more
De
fit, I
Bruyne
guess.
is far better. Foden is one to watch out for.
Watch out for in what sense? Leaving
I
City,
feel they should just sell Foden.
but tell him to where?
I don't know, but would anybody buy him?
Tell
Maybe
him to
Man
where?
U.
Who will buy Foden? Yeah,
Maybe Man U.
Foden
Man U.
actually fits in a Man U jersey.
Man U be doing catch up with Mason Mount. They might fit each other.
Yeah, and he's still in Manchester, right? Manchester
Yeah.
United. A boy,
But
City
they will
boy
hate
playing
him.
for United.
A city boy through and through.
Yeah, playing for United. He might not even take the offer.
No. He can't do that. He rather moves to London,
You
Arsenal,
rather, yeah, you rather move out.
or Tottenham. Even Tottenham can do with him too.
Yeah, but he's definitely not. He's definitely not going
He
to.
will not leave because he knows he just sit on the bench and collect trophies.
But what happens if Aston Villa don't get Champions League? All the guys that they have, they kind of leave, right? Rashford will most likely go back to
He
Man
doesn't
U.
want Rashford, right? I told you.
Yeah, Bernardo Silva has had rumors of leaving. Yeah,
He's old. Bernardo Silva is old.
it's kind of time to go.
Yeah. You know the thing. I'll be honest with you, Kingsley. If we do based on performance, sometimes football always pans out like that. Liverpool deserved to win the Premier League title and they won it. They were
Mhm.
the most consistent team,
Yeah.
tactics and everything, right? Um, Arsenal deserve to be second
Mhm.
because after obviously they've been title contenders and it will not be fair if they don't finish second.
Mhm.
But you see, third, fourth, fifth.
Yeah.
City, how many losses did City have this season? They
9.
had I think there was a time they had almost 10 losses or so
Oh, you mean across all competitions?
in the Premier League. How many did
They
they
have
have?
9. Just have
9.
9 losses here.
How many losses does Chelsea have?
9.
9 too. How many does Newcastle have?
11.
11.
The only difference is Newcastle have won more games than the rest of you guys.
Okay, Newcastle has one more.
Yeah, because you
So
guys were
Man City
drawing.
has
You
had
guys were
more
drawing.
draws.
Yeah, Man City have 8 draws, so that's what affects the record. Those
Oh, that
draws.
means yeah, okay. But 11 losses is too much in a I don't know, but if you have more wins,
Mm-hmm.
you get um wow, it's hard to say. It's hard to say who deserve Nottingham for I don't feel to be honest with you, I don't if I'm to pick two people not to go to Champions League, I would just say Nottingham Forest for now. They shouldn't waste that spot. But playing with Chelsea, right, will determine if they really want it, then they should go for it. If Chelsea really wants it, they should go for it. You said they draw really
Draws
kills the
skills.
summer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Liverpool used to draw so
yeah,
much back in.
the day back in the day.
Yeah.
True, maybe yeah. That's it. More wins. You need more wins, right? In your cupboard. Like Chelsea now, so many draws have killed them. You go back, they drew to Ipswich. Some of the draws they've had are really weird draws, right? So be like,
But you guys still did well. Like looking at the season, having
but I think Chelsea this they need
19 wins. I think you
yeah.
guys had a better season than last season. Last season you guys had 18 wins,
Hmm.
9 draws and 11 losses, right? And you guys
Last
finished
season.
last season and you guys finished 6th. You guys
Hmm.
were 6th in the league. This season you guys have 19 wins.
Hmm.
You have a game in hand which you possibly could win or draw, but you guys have reduced your amount of games you've lost. So you guys lost 9 games and 9 draws. I think
Last season you have how many
looking at
losses?
11 losses. Now
Last season.
yes, looking at the performance last season and this season, I would say you guys have maybe considered less. Let me see the goal difference. Your goal difference 2 is not bad. Your goal difference is what, 20. So you guys also considered less goals this season, which
And
means
we scored more.
midfield defensively you guys did well. You guys scored goals, scored a lot of goals, and which means creatively you guys were not
Yes.
bad.
Yes.
Creatively
I,
you
I
guys were
like
not bad either.
I like this W comment from SSB saying, I'm going it's going with the conspiracy theory. EPL don't want Villa and Forest in the UCL next. I feel so. It could be.
Mm.
It's the same way you saw what they did to Man City in the FA Cup. It's the
Mhm.
same thing. I just feel they didn't want them to win that FA Cup. It was just too. It
So
was
wait, they don't want Villa and Forest to go to Champions League. So they want like kind of like top teams like Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, and Newcastle to go.
we don't know. Villa did well in the Champions League actually. They didn't do
Yeah,
bad.
they did well. They did very
Yeah.
well. They got to what? They got to
But I
seven.
don't think Forest going to the Champions League. They will waste
They
that
got to
spot.
what? What position did they get to? Quarterfinals?
Quarters, yes. They did
Yeah.
well, right? Yeah, we
Yeah.
see.
What are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I think Man City Bournemouth is like the make or break for Man City season.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't win that game, it will affect them even going to the last day
Mm-hmm.
because they go away to Fulham.
Yeah.
Do you get? So to now if they don't win, Chelsea, they are in the same position as Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get? There's not much difference. Although Fulham are not really fighting for anything, but still it affects,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the last day, like SSB just said, there's going to be chaos,
Yeah.
and we are going to be shocked. I
Mm-hmm.
know everybody has been tipping Chelsea not to go to the Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, but you see, we are going to have more shock. We will see after the Bournemouth game, right? It could
Yeah.
even be Man City not going to the Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
Man City had the easiest run. Them and Forest had the easiest run.
Yeah.
Remember, Austin, welcome. So Man City and Forest in the last 5 games, their own running was the easiest,
Mm-hmm.
right? Chelsea had the hardest.
Yeah.
Where the people that dropped the most points was Forest, followed by
With
Man City,
Forest. Yeah.
right? So that's it. So, and I feel like the last day,
Yeah. To surprise everyone.
there's going to be crazy surprise. The last day, you can't miss that last day for anything. No, can't
Yeah.
miss it.
I think if City lose to Bournemouth, everything is just going to open up. It will open
Mm,
up in the sense that there's now a chance for the other teams like Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, and even Chelsea, kind of
mm,
like gives them that certainty
mm.
to get the positions that they want to go to Europe or to even get the
Yeah.
Champions League spot. So that last day is would really be interesting, depending on how Man City and Bournemouth play. Because if they
Yes.
draw,
That
then
last day is going to be a war for everybody.
but if they win, it's kind of clear that okay, we know pretty much. Even it comes down to the last day because even if they win and they lose to Fulham, it's
Oh,
still
that's
the thing. So
yeah.
it,
So
it
that's it.
actually comes down to the last day.
Yeah.
Chelsea versus Forest is the match. Yes, that is the match. Chelsea versus Forest
I
because
think that's the match that they should they're going to broadcast.
and
But
that's a game. That's a game I feel like Chelsea will not win. You know,
you see,
I've been saying that this game I feel like Chelsea will not win.
and I
So,
feel they can win it. So we'll see.
but yeah, my final thoughts. I feel like I gave my prediction on what I think might happen. And
Mm,
my prediction was, I'll just say it again: Aston Villa lose to Man U,
mm,
and they finish 66. Chelsea they draw Nottingham Forest,
mm.
and Newcastle Everton. Newcastle wins. Man City
Okay.
lose to Bournemouth, and Man City win Fulham.
Fulham.
So that was my kind of like my prediction, and I mean, I hope it happens, but I know a few of the games I've called might happen that way. And
Mm,
those games could be even be City losing to Bournemouth,
true.
right? In this current form, yes, the City always beats Bournemouth at home, but in this current
Mm,
form, anything is possible.
yeah. SSB saying Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, Chelsea, and City will go through. True.
Mhm.
True.
Yeah,
But it will be
I think
tough.
Chelsea if Chelsea wins the last game, they are going. They are going
Yeah.
for sure.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah,
That's the game of their life. It's
yeah.
going
But
to be
who is the fifth team that will get there? Because you said Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, 1, 2, 3.
Chelsea
Oh
and
yeah,
City.
5. Okay, Chelsea and City. Okay.
Mm. Yeah. We'll see. So Liverpool tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow. Liverpool plays Brighton. The game is not really significant. I mean, for guys that
I don't even think I want to watch the game because it's pointless. We win, we lose. Just it feels so good to be a Liverpool fan these days. Your games right now
they
they've
don't mean
already
much.
they don't mean anything to you anymore because you won the league. What can you do? You just have to
Yeah,
watch
if
the other
you've
people.
not won the league, you've
We
been
have,
watching
we have
the
to watch the
spirit
other
at this
people fight
time.
for scrums and try to beg for good placements.
Oh my
Bro, it's
god.
funny. But anyways, thank you guys for joining the stream. SSB, Austin,
Austin,
Jordan, you guys, shout out to
Jordan.
you guys.
Yeah.
We'll be back again tomorrow. We're streaming every day. So
Yeah.
around the same time, 6 p.m. CST. So
And
uh, it
it's I think 8:20 Newfoundland time.
yeah, it's
NDT time.
15. Yeah.
8:15 NDT time. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah. See you.